UCF a long time. 2019, you've been here.
2018.
Okay, a long time. So what's it been like after, going and competing in the American Conference, and now this is UCF's first year in the Big 12, going through the conference schedule? How did you kind of perceive everything, being an experienced player and kind of being there and seeing everything the last few years? What did you think about this first year in the Big 12?
Honestly, we knew, like everyone said before, that coming into the Big 12, it was going to be a big, step up. The competition was going to be at another level. Teams were coming in without, we were playing teams that we never played before, you know what I mean? And so they didn't know how our style of play. So it kind of gave us, in some ways, a chip on our shoulder, because teams are coming in probably not respecting us, or probably not giving us that type of, I don't know, respect they'd give other teams that are already in the Big 12. So we kind of were given the opportunity to kind of shock them and kind of really make our mark on the conference.
What would you say is the biggest thing that you learned from your last regular season matchup against BYU that you want to take with you into this Big 12 tournament in Round Rock?
I think the biggest thing that I learned personally is that, the competition is at that next level. BYU was a great team, and they're one of the top of the nation. So it kind of takes you to go into that next gear, that extra gear. In the American Conference, there were teams that you could play that you keep the ball. You would have maybe 10 to 15 opportunities on goal. But when it comes to BYU or teams that are at that caliber, even Texas Tech, you're only going to have one or two opportunities, especially as a forward. So you kind of have to dial in and make sure that those opportunities that you have in front of goal that you put away.
2018. What does this program mean to you?
This program is honestly, playing in this area. I mean, on this team for the last 6 years, this place has kind of become my home. And in a lot of ways, UCF will always have such a special place in my heart. Being under Coach Tiff for this long, I've been with Coach Tiff half of her UCF coaching career. So when you think about it like that, me and her have been through a lot. There's been a lot of ups and downs, but when it comes to whenever I'm out there, I make sure that I remember how lucky I am to be able to still play under such great coaching and be in such an amazing environment. Because honestly, UCF has one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best environments to play college soccer, for sure.
And you know what it's like to play in the NCAA tournament. So
exactly. Yeah.
You don't want your season to end anytime soon.
No, I don't want this season to end. I can't even, right now I really can't imagine. Every time I think about it, it makes me a little emotional because of how long I've been here. You always think about oh, what's coming next, going into pros or whatever, but this place is just so special, and all the memories that I've made here and the teammates that I have, I definitely don't want the season to come to end anytime soon. And I know that we have the caliber of team. I mean, I've been here now for 6 years, and I think that we have a very, very strong team this year. We've had ups and downs and have lost key players, but I know we have the team to be able to get into the NCAA tournament and make it far.
There's still memories to be made, hopefully these next few weeks, but just looking back on these last 5 to 6 years you've been here, what have been some of the most special moments you've experienced at UCF?
One of the most special moments would have to be last year when we finally got our first ring, for the conference, regular season conference champions. Yeah, no, that was such an amazing feeling, because that class was technically my class with Daria, Kristen, and all of us, and we didn't want to come out of our class without a ring, and so that was such an important moment for me personally, and I definitely know for all of us as a team. And we kind of carried that, me and Carol were part of that class, so we tried to carry that same feeling of wanting a ring and all that stuff coming into the Big 12, because we knew that it would take that extra juice and that extra motivation to reach it at a new conference.
What would you say is the difference between the Dayana Martin that first arrived here at UCF in 2018 versus the one we're looking at right now?
They're laughing in the back because I've changed a lot. I think the biggest difference, I would say, is that I think when I came in my freshman year, I had so many expectations and I put so much pressure on what I wanted my college career to look like. I think you come in and you're okay, I want it to look like this. I want my first season to be this. I want my second season to look like that. And by my third season, I want to have all these things in place so I could move on to whatever level that you're trying to go to. And I think one thing you learn about college soccer or college sports in general, there are a lot of ups and downs. You get injured. Like I came into my freshman year, and before the season started, I had gotten injured, and that kind of like threw like a big obstacle in my like plans that I had for myself. And so I think the biggest difference is that now like I am a lot more grateful, and I just allow seasons and like things to unfold as they should. I make sure that I do the best that I can when I'm out there, and I like really try to embrace like my teammates and embrace the environment and kind of just let things unfold instead of taking college sports or like this season too serious. Like of course it's very serious, but at the same time you have to enjoy moments and like really, just embrace where you are and kind of like be where your feet are.
What do you and your team need to do to be successful in this tournament in Texas?
I think what the team needs to do is like understand that every game at this point can be our last game, and so we have to play that way. Like in the game there can't be like plays that you take off, minutes that you're like, okay, like let me just like relax or whatever. Like I think we have to make sure that we always start off like good and dialed in, and then from there we have to like extend our lead. I think that's one thing as a team this year that we've kind of struggled with, is like we can get ahead or like we can tie a game, but like when it comes to like extending our lead, so being up more than 1-0 or more than 2-0, that's something that we definitely are going to need, because we're going to need that cushion, and we're going to be able to, in order to continue with our season for sure.
You saw BYU do that.
Exactly. I think that's one thing as a team that we have to do for this tournament, is not be like complacent with like a 1-0 lead like early in the game, because I think just with BYU or Texas Tech or any team that we played, even Oklahoma State, you see that when you get up, like the game could be easily tied. Like games flip all the time with leads and stuff.
Good. You're going into this TCU matchup. Didn't get a chance to see them in the regular season. So what is it like for you guys to kind of go into this matchup? Also later in the day too, going into that type of matchup, fighting for both of you fighting for your postseason lives.
Honestly, when it comes to playing, like obviously we haven't played TCU, but like I try to just focus on like what our team has and like the components that we have. And I think that like coming into the game, that I have a lot of confidence in the game plan that we set forward and the personnel that we have. Like I have no doubt in our defending ability and our back four and our midfield and our attacking players to get the job done.
How does it feel to be recognized by the league?
Great. Honestly, I wasn't sure if we were gonna get like any recognition, but I feel like so honored to be able to get an award like that for sure. But honestly, it's a testament to like how hard the team works, because like forwards don't look good if the ball is not given to them. You know what I mean? Like, and we're not given those opportunities. So it really is like a team effort, even though it is an individual award.
And how does it feel for Jessica to know freshman? So
Yeah.
just so many years ahead,
Yeah.
maybe 6.
Thank you. Everyone's really driving that point home, aren't we? I'm so proud of her. Like honestly, like I've seen her come such a long way, and she kind of was just like thrown into the fire. Like it's really, honestly, I can't imagine like coming in. I think as a freshman, like you guys said, and like thrown into big time Big 12 games. It's definitely nerve wracking, and I have a lot of respect for her being able to step up in that moment, because I know a lot of people, when they're presented with something that tough, sometimes the pressure's too much and they like aren't able to perform, or you have to like look for different routes, like personnel wise. But like Jess has been able to really step up to the plate, and like I'm very proud of her, and I have a lot of like respect for that as a player.
How cool is it to see the men's success and that #1 ranking this week?
Yeah, no, I mean, all of us have said that that's such an amazing accomplishment for them. The men's team is, we have so much respect for their program and how they run things, and like everyone said, that we're really close to them. And so seeing them ranked #1, it's honestly the recognition that they deserve for the hard work and for the way that they've played and everything that they've overcame in the season. So I think them being ranked #1 is justified. And like Tiff said, like UCF is a soccer school, and I think men's soccer being ranked #1 definitely shows that.
What's the biggest difference between the team that started this season versus the team we're seeing right now having gone up against a Big 12 competition for a full regular conference season?
I think the biggest difference from the team that came in to the team now is We came in without really knowing what to expect, so I think like that can also make you come out like really hot with a lot of fire and like motivation. But I think now that we've kind of like seasoned, most of the teams, besides like TCU and like other teams like that, we kind of know now what to expect. We know the level that we have to bring, because at the beginning we weren't sure what level we had to bring. Like in the game, like is 1-0 enough? Or like can we tie games? Can we end up winning games 2-1 and all that stuff? Like how dialed in do we have to be to every match? And like I think now we know like what's gonna take from each individual person. And so I would say like just the biggest difference is like us knowing personally and team-wise what it's gonna take to get results here.
You majored in film. If you had to pick one movie for the team to watch before taking the pitch against TCU, whether the day before or a few hours before, since it's late enough in the day, what movie would you pick and why?
Honestly, that's a really really tough question. What? No, I'm trying to think of like a good sports movie right now. I know we were talking about watching Miracle, but honestly, I haven't watched that movie in a while. But I think that could be a good like team movie for everyone to watch. Good motivation.
Yeah, you gotta go into really fighting out for that post. It went out just with TCU, but also with Texas as well.
Mm-hmm. What was the question?
Just what would what's it like to kind of go into kind of a 3-team bout because the Big 12 is like a 3-team big league, as a lot of people are projecting. Then TCU, and Texas are both going to be, all three of you are going to be fighting for postseason lives this weekend.
I mean, it makes all the games way more intense because everybody knows what's at stake. And obviously, Texas, TCU, and us, like, we all know the situation that we're in. Like, nobody's, like, naive. So it's definitely going to come out in the games. I think the games are going to be fought until the very, very last second, because both teams know that if we don't get the result, it could be the last game of the season, and nobody wants that. So I think the games are going to be, like, very entertaining to watch, but also very, very intense in the moment. I don't think in those games there is no like lead that's too comfortable when it comes to that, because teams are going to fight till the very end. So I think it's just going to be really being dialed into that and knowing that like both teams want to extend their seasons.
Awesome. Best of luck.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. Thank you.